Hello, everyone, and welcome to what was supposed to be a conference call, our first conference call, talking about the three things you need to know about marketing in the senior market. Let me apologize, first of all, for not having this be live, as it had originally, I had originally intended it to be. I, for whatever reason, did not complete the sign up, and as I thought I had, and so I couldn't get on. So I have, and next week we will be on just as we're regularly scheduled in that noon hour. Next Monday at noon for those of you who want to come back, and I'm sure there's going to be a fair amount of you who will. And thank you for this, for the overwhelming response I had to this. This is a really tremendous opportunity, I think, for all companies who are interested in education-based marketing for the senior market. And I think that what we'll all see here is that the more people that get involved in this, the greater growth we're going to have as a group of senior-based businesses marketing to seniors and their families. I wanted to start out today talking about why we're all in this business. I mean, obviously, well, I know for sure I'm not in this business as a hobby. It's not for my entertainment, and I'm not in this business just because I haven't got anything else better to do. It's certainly not for my health. But we're in this business, I'm assuming that we're all in this business for one of two reasons. And the first is, first of all, obviously to make money. And the second is to help people. Now, the two are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they are inexorably tied together. In order to help people, you need to make money. And in order to make money, you need to help people. So what we're going to be talking about today is a little bit of why we're in this business. This is not a workshop on The Secret or on prosperity or abundance or anything like that, although there are people, and I know I was at one time one of them, who was sort of locked up in the fact that I couldn't really grasp that abundance thing. But if there's anyone out there who needs help in that area, there is not a lack of material out there. There's tons of books out there. There's tons of videos out there. There's tons of companies out there who can actually talk to you about the abundance mentality. So we don't need to focus on that today. But what we do want to talk about is really how to take your business to the next level, and what that means is making more money and helping more people. And what we're talking about here today is really turning yourself, you as a business owner, you as an independent business person out there, turning you into a world-class marketer. A while back I attended a workshop on marketing. See, I was a video guy, a writer, producer, director, and an editor, and I was really, really good at it. I'd done that most of my life. And but the issue I had was that if I was doing the work, I was not in the process of getting more work. So I was constantly in this roller coaster of getting work, getting it completed, then having to go out and find more work, and then getting that completed. And it was, quite frankly, wearing me out, because it's such a cyclical thing that as long as I was doing the work, I was happy, and I had money in my pocket. And as soon as I finished the job, I needed to go out and get more money and more jobs. So I was a video production company, but I did not get rich doing video production until I became a marketer of video production. So I was a video production company, but I did not get rich until I became a marketer of video production. So in your business, you're not going to get rich until you become a marketer of legal services or home care or reverse mortgage or whatever it is you're in the business to do. If you're writing the business or you're doing the business, then you're not marketing the business. And if you're not marketing the business, you're still going to be an operator, and you're going to be stuck where you're at in very small little kind of a small little niche. Now, if that's what you want and you're okay with that, then probably this isn't going to mean a whole lot to you. But if you're out there to help more people and grow your business and then help more people and then grow your business and then help more people, then I encourage you to stay through for the next 20 or so minutes, and we're going to show you the 3 things you need to understand to really get to that place where you are going to become a marketer of your company. And the reason is that we all got into our business believing that we had a better way of doing our business, of doing what we do. And that has become our unique selling proposition. The way we do what we do, that's what makes our company different. We didn't get into our business to be an HR department or a sales department or a marketing department or an accountant, yet those are all things we have to do before we can then do the things that are the business we got in business to do. So for example, if you want to be, if you're a small business person out there, this is probably going to sound very familiar to you. You have to take care of your HR responsibilities and your let's say for example you've got a home care or a home health care company, and you have to take care of your HR business and your accounting business, and your marketing business and your sales business before you can really do what you got in the business to do, which is take care of people in their homes. So what we're going to show you today really is the way to kind of get one of those out of the way. So it's an automatic thing that will give you more of an opportunity to really do what you got in the business to do. The reason is that you need to make enough money so you can hire people, accountants, salespeople, marketing people, HR people, human resources people, all of those other people that you need to hire so you can go about doing what you really got in the business to do, which was helping people in their homes. So I want to talk a little bit about why marketing is so important, because that is really when I was working for Video West, the video production company, where I really cut my teeth in video production. We always talked about nothing happens until the first sale happens. So until the sale happens, nothing is really going to happen. But going out and selling is tedious and time consuming, and you get a lot of no's and you get a lot of rejections. But if you're out there marketing, and you're marketing to people in a way that attracts them to you, they come to you because you have marketed to a large group of people, and then they in turn come to you and say, okay, I need to find out more about what you do and how you do it. When I was first involved in video production, there was, we had big 2-inch videotape machines, 2-inch tape reels that were on big, huge 2-inch videotapes, and then the tapes got smaller, they became 1-inch. And then in the early 80s, they debuted what was then come to be known as home video. And that started out as I'm sure you're all well aware, as either VHS or Beta. They were two competing formats that were put together by two competing companies. Sony had the Beta format, and Panasonic developed the VHS format. And they both came out roughly the same time. Sony actually introduced theirs first, and they did because they were more advanced in their development. They got there first and were able to make higher quality video. They were able to make that video higher definition, with better resolution and better sound quality. The original Beta format actually had multiple channels of audio as part of what they did. The cassettes were also smaller. It was in many, well, in all technical ways, it was a superior format. And the people at Sony, being engineers, believed, as they had for years, and as what they had done for years, is making superior products and believing that people would come if you make superior products. The people from Panasonic realized they were behind the 8 ball. Their product was not as high quality. The audio wasn't as good. The video resolution wasn't as good. And so they turned to their marketing division and they said, we need help. And what I'm going to tell you about here is how we ended up with the de facto format being VHS rather than the technically superior Sony. What happened is the marketing department at Panasonic got busy and developed a very unique marketing strategy. What they did is they realized that people could not figure out how to use their VCRs, the video cassette recorders, because setting them up to record, that was the original purpose behind them, was to record one program while you were watching another. And the problem is that nobody could really figure out how to do that. I mean, if you grew up in that era, you probably no doubt remember that VHS or that Beta deck would sit there under the TV or on top of the TV or wherever it was kept, and the numbers were always flashing because nobody could even figure out how to really set the clock, let alone how to record a show. And if they did record a show, it was either the wrong show or it cut off. It didn't record the whole show, or it was just a tremendously frustrating process and a frustrating product. So the people from Panasonic realized that, and very early on, what they did is they went to the major movie studios and said, "We will give you these VHS tapes so you can record your movies on them, and then you can sell them." They actually, the first couple of million, few million tapes they gave out were actually free. They did not charge the movie studios for them. They were gambling on the fact that people were going to be frustrated with that recording process. So what happened is that eventually people realized, wow, this is great because I can watch movies not when they're on TV, but when I want to watch them. And so and the very first movies that came out, I mean, they were paying exorbitant prices for them. You'd pay, you know, $60, $70 for one VHS movie to put in your library. Very quickly, however, because of the competition and the number of tapes out there, the supply and demand drove the price down, where most of them were in the, you know, $10 to $20 range. But what happened is that because of that, and because VHS had beat Sony to the punch, because of that, they had actually captured a very large portion of the market, and Sony at that point had to play catch up. And that actually never did. They never did get caught up. So that is why things need to be there's a purpose behind this, and I'm going to tell you that purpose in just a minute. But I want to tell you another story, and I have to first of all take credit for this, and secondly apologize for this. Back at a Christmas party in 1999, I met Super Del Shanzi from Totally Awesome Computers. If you're around here and you remember the early 2000s, you no doubt remember Super Del Shanzi and his famous TV commercials. I was the guy who was responsible for putting him on the air on television. We met at a Christmas party in '99. He was at that time just doing radio, and was keeping two stores open, paying about $10,000 a month on one radio station to keep two stores open. He found out if he didn't spend that money, that his sales dropped to the point where he wasn't able. It didn't look like he could keep his stores open. But I met him, we talked, and I told him that he needed to be on TV, and he said, well, that's not going to, TV doesn't work. And I said, it's the reason you didn't think TV worked because you didn't do TV the right way. Well, he called me the next day and said, okay, I'm going to give you $5,000 and 1 month to prove that you can do what the TV stations couldn't do. So I put together a marketing strategy where we doubled his exposure. We doubled his exposure by putting him on at the beginning and end of every break. Instead of making two 30-second ads, we made 4 15-second spots, and we would bookend them on the beginning and end of every break he was in. Doubled his exposure, and I think as you realize, the rest is history. He went from 2 stores to 18 months having 9 stores. He was also very high maintenance, and I was never so glad to get out of a contract as I was when we parted ways in August of 2001. But the point is that, and here's the big important point, is that you have to think outside of the box. Thinking outside of the box is what both of those stories is about. And the other part of that is tailoring your message and your method to your product. Now, in the seniors marketing business, the senior services marketing business, I realized very early on, after my mom died, that there were a lot of people out there that were really, really undereducated. And I'm talking about seniors and their families, that they didn't realize what was out there. And I went out and I talked to a ton of companies for the first 3 or 4 months that we began to do our due diligence on this. And what I did is I realized that the largest single problem for seniors or businesses in the senior services space was education. And I think everyone on this phone call will agree that that is your single biggest issue in your business is that education part. So after that, what I did is I went out and started doing research on education-based marketing. And I spent a lot of time, and I spent a lot of money, and I spent a lot of effort learning from a lot of different people about education-based marketing. And then through some of my own experience, I began to customize that education-based marketing to seniors education-based marketing. And I think you're going to be very impressed with what we're able to put together. And we're going to get into that right now, talking about the 3 things you need to really understand in order to be a successful company, to really grow your business in the senior space with seniors education-based marketing. The first seniors education-based marketing strategy is what we call, you need to create an education program that creates interest. You can have the best product in the world, and if you can't get people interested in contacting you to find out what you do and how you do it, you're still stuck in that place where you have to go out and sell one person at a time and make a lot of phone calls and do a lot of cold calling, unless you can get people coming to you. And the way you do that is that you create an education-based program that works either in a one-on-one setting or in a group setting, so that no matter what you do, that program can work in both a group setting where you've got 5 or 10 or 20 or 100 people there, or you're sitting in front of one person. That seniors education-based marketing system has got to be developed for that. But the first thing you need to do is you need to create interest. And I know that you've seen these emails that come out in your email, and you probably, one of the reasons that you're probably here is you clicked on one of mine. And what that was is that the email said, okay, these are the 3 things you need to understand, or the one big mistake, or the 3 critical things you need to know. And if you get that out, and you get that out to enough people, and you get it out in enough different ways, and say it in enough different ways, you will get their attention. And once you get their attention, then you'll be able to then move on to the next phase, which is building your presentation. And the secret here of this education product, this education program, this is the second strategy. The secret of the second strategy is that you're always leading them kind of down the path toward the sale. Because again, you have to sell to make money, and you have to sell to help people. So you need to realize that what we're doing here is we're actually leading them to the sale once we get them in to their interest to contact us, or to click on our email, or to call us off of a print ad or whatever. Once we get to that point, then what we need to do is we need to always be directing them toward our end goal, which is recruiting them to become one of our customers, to enroll in our program. And we always have to be, part of that is that you're always recruiting, you're always enrolling, you're always getting them to realize that you have the best solution for the problem that they were looking for an answer for. And this is a really, really big, important deal. So now, if any of you out there have an interest, or you want to get a little bit more information on this, I urge you to email me or call me. You can call me at 844-981-0099, or email me, Dennis@oneseniorsource.com. I'll be glad to give you some free tutorials on how these first two strategies work and the best way to make these strategies work. This is no cost, this is no obligation. Again, I do this because I want to help seniors, and the best way to help seniors is to help the companies these that that help the seniors. And the final strategy here is really on how do you, because this is unique to the senior service business in the fact that you're just not marketing to one person. You're not marketing to the senior themselves, and you're not marketing to the sometimes the spouse of the senior, right? In a lot of cases, I know that one of the first things that we discovered when we started interviewing companies is that in many cases, it's not the senior themselves who makes the decision. Almost unanimously, companies said 90+% of the people that we service, it was the oldest daughter who made the decision. The oldest daughter made the decision, the oldest son wrote the check. So what we need to do is we need to, first of all, sell to the senior. We need to sell to the oldest daughter, and we also need to convince the oldest son, because those are the three critical people here in this process, and they all need to be reached in the same way and sold in the same way. And that's a pretty complicated strategy, and it's one that we'll get into a little bit more as we go along. But what you need to understand is that right now there's basically 3% of the people who are out there already looking, already sold on what you do. But the problem is that you and every other company in your space is all out there battling for that 3%. Now, there's another 30% that want to buy and know about you and are thinking that they're going to buy someday. There's another 30% who are out there roughly saying, we have no clue what's even out there, and they're just unconscious. They're completely unaware of the services and resources. So what we're going to show you with these training sessions as we go along, there's no way I could give you everything you need to know in a simple half hour. But what I want to do is I want to get you interested enough to come back, and then we can help you more next week, and then more next week, and more next week. So now again, it's a very complicated process. The third step of this is probably the most complicated that we've got. And in order to help you with that, we're going to need to have you come back. Now, if you have any questions, I want you to please call me, 844-981-0099, or email me, dennis@oneseniorsource.com, and I can help guide you through some of this. But I think it's very critical that each of you need to come back next week, and encourage others who happen to be in your circle of friends. If you've got a referral network of people that do like business, I want you to actually invite them to come, so we can get everyone in our space really using this system. Because once we got the people using this system, we're educating more seniors, and we're including that other 60% that really aren't, that know that they need your services, but just, or need your services, but either don't know about it or don't think that they're ready to buy right now. So again, I'm going to encourage you to come back next week. Call me or email me if you've got any questions. But be sure to come back next week. Let me know that you're going to be there Monday at noon. You've got the number. I will continue to mail out the number, and I'll let you know where you need to be and when you need to be there. And again, thank you for coming this week, and we look forward to talking to you next week.